Good afternoon. I'm Lisa Broom with the CBC News Break. Prime Minister Fandel Stewart is warning that human trafficking is the new form of slavery. He says the scourge exists 200 years after national hero, the Right Excellent Bussa, fought against the injustice. The Prime Minister was speaking at a production entitled From Bussa to Barrow and Beyond at Golden Grove Plantation in St. Philip. The play was to commemorate the 1816 rebellion led by Bussa and celebrate Barbados's 50th anniversary of independence.
Although slavery as we knew it then was abolished, today a much more subtle but no less dangerous kind of slavery is very much a part of our global landscape. It rejoices in the name of human trafficking, which is what slavery was. And when we all thought that we had put that behind us, it has now reappeared in a new form.
Before the play got underway, Chairman of the Barbados Reparations Committee, Professor Pedro Welch, handed over the reparations baton to Guyana's Deputy Consul General in Barbados, Monique Jackman. Finance Minister Chris Sinclair is rubbishing suggestions from some quarters that government's economic and social policies are turning away investors. In fact, he argues that government is moving in the right direction to stabilize the economy while putting people's welfare high on its agenda. Telling critics Barbados is not a cluster of statistics, Minister Sinclair says the Fandel Stewart administration is working to ensure it meets its financial obligations and targets. He put forward the case during a DLP St. Michael Northwest branch meeting last evening, where some long-standing supporters received awards for their contribution to the party.
A stable economy requires a stable society. Nobody's going to invest in Barbados if you have people running around the country doing foolishness. So if people talk about get your debt right, get your deficit right, because investors like that, but one thing investors like is peace and quiet. They don't want commotion. And we have to make sure that we put ourselves in a position where our people in Barbados can live in peace and harmony and can strive and achieve their objectives. And those who come from outside to be among us can have the same experience because we have it.
The duo, held in connection with a recent $2 million drug bust at Carlisle Bay, will appear in court today. St. Michael men 36-year-old Glyne Leroy Carter of Odessa McLean, My Lord's Hill, and 33-year-old Oswald O'Brien Pitt of Pinders Gap, Howells Cross Road are set to face the District A Magistrates Court. They're jointly charged with possession, possession with intent, trafficking and importation of over 1,000 pounds of cannabis. Last Friday evening, around 20 minutes to 6, the police marine unit intercepted a speedboat about 10 nautical miles off Carlisle Bay, and approximately 1,046 pounds of cannabis was discovered. The men were detained and their boat seized. Meantime, police and fire officials are looking into the cause of a blaze which destroyed a tire shop at Ashbyland, Christchurch. Firefighters got the call around 3 a.m. and responded with 2 tenders, one from Bridgetown and the other from Worthing Station. There were 7 officers under the command of Station Officer Denton Foster. Now, there was no word on who owns the tire shop located near the bottom of Oystins Hill. The community effort continues across Barbados to supply residents in water-scarce districts. A small team of concerned people, along with a truck and some donated bottles of water, were all that were needed to provide temporary relief to many in St. Joseph, St. John and other affected parishes. David Davis, an organizer of the water drive, which starts off at Warren's, says all it takes is a little effort to make a big difference.
Seeing how the people in St. John and St. Joseph been experiencing their problems for an extended period, we just felt that somebody in Barbados should respond in the way that we would have responded to Dominica. You know, they had their situation and everybody in Barbados put together, and in a short turnaround time we were able to, affect change in a positive way for them. So having people next door in our backyards, our brothers, our sisters, we just felt that somebody in Barbados should step up and assist these people.
Andy Blood Armstrong, DJ Stokely Murray and other local entertainers are among the volunteers. They are encouraging others to help the cause by taking part in a bottle drop-off at the Massey Supermarket in Warrens. Mr. Davis says the drive will continue until a change comes or until the rain comes. He says during their weekly Sunday distribution, his team has seen firsthand the suffering of many Barbadians struggling to get by without water.
On looking at the children, you can see that their lips are dried. Obviously, they're dehydrated. Outside the house, we saw tons of empty buckets, 12 to be exact empty buckets, because they live in one of the secondary roads. And what's been happening is that the water tankers, they're passing on the main road, but not going through the secondary roads. So people on the secondary roads, I mean old people, children, they're in serious need of water.
A union boss doesn't think the industrial relations climate in Barbados is more volatile now than at any time in the past. But General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Tony Moore, thinks the number of issues being made public may make it appear that way. She says the union deals with hundreds of issues each day and going public is a last resort.
When we start speaking about issues in the public as trade unionists, and I speak specifically of the BWU, that is the moment that it should come as the first signal that the matters are not being addressed in the manner that we would want them to address, and where we are of the view that a dispute may be brewing at some point.
Ms. Moore says there are a number of other industrial relations issues that have to be ironed out, including the airport, customs and air traffic controllers, all of which she hopes can be resolved before they get into the public's eye.
I think that these are signals, definitely, that all is not well, and we can only impress on the powers that be to make sure that they give attention to these, because certainly it is not auguring well for other workers who are seeing this and who also have situations brewing. And the last thing that we would want is a situation to inflate in a manner that can destabilize an economy that is already significantly challenged.
Time for a break now, but when we come back, regional and international news.